there anybody that inspires you for that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think, honestly, it's crazy because when I grew up, I always looked up to like the Bob Proberts and the Boogards and just the legit super heavies. Like, I thought those guys were which they are, I still feel that way. But that's who I always tried to play like. And when I was in junior, I was the most respectful player in the world. You'd never catch me slashing a guy. You'd never catch me. I didn't chirp. I'd line up beside the toughest guy on the other team and say, like George Larocque, hey, would you like to fight? Like, so respectful. Yes or no? No. Okay. No problem. Yes. Okay. Like, I swear that's how I played. I obviously played hard too, and eventually whatever. But I played a pretty respectful game. I didn't really lean into the agitator side as much. And then when I got into Columbus in the SPHL, when I first got called up from the SB, it was my first season playing pro. And I played for Jerome Bouchard, and he came up to me and he said, he's like, hey, you wanna move up? You wanna make it to the next level? I was like, yeah, of course I do. And he said, well, you're not gonna be George Larocque or a Bob Probert at the next level. You're gonna be a Sean Avery or a Matt Cook or, something like that. And I was kind of like, whoa, he kind of basically told me, hey, you're not going to be the toughest, you're not going to be the biggest fish in the pond if you move up, but you can be even more effective than that guy if you do this, this, and this. And ever since then, I really did take that into the, and I learned from it. And, that season was pretty crazy for me because it was the first time I searched out doing some, like going after a goal scorer and telling him, I'm going to come after you. That was the first time I ever done that. Like, I'm going to get you. If it's not this shift, it'll be next shift. And it was like to growl at him and look at him like, I'm coming for you. And then I realized the guy would just fold. He would fold. He would just go away, disappear, wouldn't score a goal. A guy that's scoring 2 goals a game. And I started to realize, I'm like, oh my God. And I started to do that, and guess what happened? Boom, I got called up right away. And I started to realize, I'm like, this is a cheat code. And so I just kind of leaned into it, and I started doing it more and more. And now it's kind of funny because now I'm kind of in a position where I am probably one of the bigger fish in the pond. I am probably one of the tougher guys. I'm able to handle myself against anyone. I'm comfortable fighting anybody on ice, and I feel like I can do well. But I'm also still leaning into that side. So it's even more, I feel like it's even more of a takes people out a little bit mentally because they're like, oh my God, this guy can handle our tough guy and he's coming for me.
Do you think there's like a hole in the market that opened with fighting kind of slowly dissolving out of hockey? And so you've kind of stepped in that role where you don't have as much competition as you had 10, 20 years ago. And so now when you're going after their star player, they don't have the backup to kind of take you out. So now you, like Warren Buffett would say, if there's a gold rush, don't look for gold, buy shovels.
Right.
You're the shovel.
Yeah, exactly. So like at the end of the day, it's like, the pendulum was swinging and I knew it would come back because it's like when the Broad Street Bullies came back in the day, they realized they had a cheat code. They're like, oh my God, if we scare the shit out of everybody, they're not going to be able to play. Their tails are going to be between their legs. They're just going to want to go home. And then we're going to score goals and we're going to win because nobody's going to want to go in the corner for a puck. So what happened is the game gets soft. Obviously the game starts swinging. They start going away from fighting. And then all of a sudden, boom, it starts to come back. And people start to realize, Rempe starts running around, making a big stir. Teams start putting their tail between their legs. Now everybody's starting to realize, okay, maybe the cheat code, maybe we forgot about this cheat code. It is a thing. So now I feel like the pendulum's swinging back because everybody's starting to realize again, hey, there's a reason that this worked, And so now I feel like the pendulum's swinging again. And I think this upcoming season is going to be I'm really excited for this upcoming season, just in every league. I just want to see what happens with the game. But I have a feeling it's just going to keep swinging a little bit more. I don't think it's going to get crazy out of hand, but I think you're going to see the fights go up again this year. And hockey was the most entertaining. Last season in the NHL was probably the most entertaining year of hockey. Like, if you look at the numbers in the Stanley Cup Finals, they had the best numbers. They beat the MLB and NBA Finals for the last 5 years, which is probably pretty unheard of for hockey to do something like that. So I think if it continues in that way where you're getting all these big heavies coming in, guys like Rempe, stirring things up. Now McDermott's getting a big contract, So I think if that keeps coming with all the skill in the game, this is like unbeatable. What's a better sport to watch than hockey, or with early 2000s tough guys, but with the 2020, 2024 skill? There's literally no sport better.
I don't want to do him an injustice, but for Rempe, how quick was it? He had 2, maybe 3 fights in a week. He was on every single Instagram Explore page, every TikTok for you. He was everywhere. And in reality, what do you have? 2, 3 fights? That was it. But because it's so unheard of and it doesn't happen much, you have an ability to make a big splash in the pond.
Yeah, and that was a normal thing. You know, when I started my first year in hockey, it was a normal thing. You know, 2 fights in a game wasn't uncommon for a guy. So seeing a guy like that come in and really start ruffling feathers because he was going, and then it kind of woke up everyone else. I feel like everyone else is like, oh, like I feel like if I'm the Reeves in the league and I see this Rempe come in, he's getting all the attention. It's going to be pretty tough to not kind of be like, hey, I better start laying the boots now to some people. Like you're going to kind of be a little pissed, this young guy, 21 years old, and everybody's talking about him. So I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, exciting guy to watch. I think everybody, you know, hate him or love him. I'm sure there's a percentage of people that hate him, but I loved it. And I've never been so excited to watch hockey as I am.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We do a new podcast every single Sunday during the season called Slinging the Biscuit. It is a non-mainstream hockey podcast, so we talk about my hockey career, the minor pros, Spain, the Fed, you name it, all the stuff that you won't hear in the mainstream news.
Music,
Pop culture.
politics.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon. Peace.